Hello, Ken Spriggs here with a wrap-up end of the year video to kind of go over the models that I built in 2021 and also some milestones that I achieved in my model building career, especially including 2 commissions that I made. One of them I did actually begin in 2020, but I completed it in 2021. And I'm going to show off my models that I completed this year. The ones that I have here, there is at least one other one that I did recently. The last one that I showed, my Tony Stark Iron Man bust, I don't have that model because I gave it to my friend who gave it to his mother. And I did talk to him. She was very happy with it and really happy with the quality of it. So I'm not really considering that a commission bill per se. I did that for my friend, and he paid for the file for me to download it, and then I painted it for her. So I won't really consider that part of a commission. But let me go ahead and show you the models that I completed this year, and then I actually have both of my clients. I did a Skype call with each of them separately, and we're going to talk about the commissions that I did for them. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the models that I completed. All right, so let me go ahead and show you the models I completed in 2021. First of all, there's my Christmas tree. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you had a good Christmas. Like I did, I had a very good one. A little light effects on the ceiling. But, so these are the models that I completed in 2021. At least 2 of them I started before that. The commission build, obviously, for the Discovery I started in 2020. And then this one here, Ahsoka Tano, with the Mandalorian from the Jedi, which I believe I started at the end of 2020, but I completed in 2021. Still one of my favorites. I'm really happy with the diorama. I really like the light up lightsabers, and the 2 figures and the backdrop I think is just fantastic. So I don't have any of these lit up at this point. This one I did win a silver award from Wonderfest, and I won a first place award at the IPMS convention in Indianapolis in 2021. Then I worked on my Thing, the John Carpenter Thing, but I won a bronze from that one at Wonderfest. I have a little new action figure of MacReady that I got on my visit to Pittsburgh to visit my family. I found a little shop there, picked up this really cool figure of him, and it's got different faces that you can put on him and little accessories. So really cool. Definitely love The Thing, and that's one of my all-time favorite horror movies. And a little creature from the Tomorrow War, which I built. I haven't really done anything else with it or a diagram. I never returned to it. But I think he turned out pretty cool anyway. He was a 3D printed figure. Sorry, get some light on him. So he's pretty cool. I may do something with him still if I ever get around to it. But he's visiting his cousin, the Thing Spider, helping out. So I won a bronze award for that one. Then I did the Dave Bowman Astronaut, returning the AE-35 unit, which is 3D printed, and I won a bronze award for that. The silver here is for my original Discovery, which I have back up on the wall since I sent out the commission one. And then, of course, my other one's there. And then I got a new glass case while I was also in Pittsburgh from IKEA. I'm trying to get a hold of some of these. I got 2 of them, and one of them I put together. I want to get a few more to display my models in. So the new models that are in here, and forgive the little Loki one. When I was putting him in here, I accidentally dropped him, and I broke his arm off, and he broke off the stand, and his head broke. I glued most of it back together. His little magic flames, green flames light up, and they still work. I still have to fix his head and get it put back on. I may have to 3D print another one. But I also did Miss Minutes, cute little build. And then I did the one there in the back, which is the charge bust from Filmy's Girls, which I really like a lot. I used some techniques on that I learned at Wonderfest on how to paint realistic flesh tones. And I think it turned out really well. And even though she has a bluish tint to her skin, I still use some of those techniques, which made it look more realistic. I used the same techniques on the Iron Man bust to make his flesh look more realistic. And I was really pleased with the way that turned out as well. So that's another build that I made. And then certainly that one, along with the Discovery and with the little mini pod, are other things I built this year that I don't actually have in my collection here to display. So they're certainly in my videos, and they're still a part of my builds for 2021. So very happy with how those all turned out. So all right, so quite a bit done this year, and definitely looking forward to building a lot more next year as well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and show some Skype calls that I made with my two clients. The first one's with Kevin, and he lives in California, and so I built the Discovery for him. Took a little bit over a year to complete, and so let me go ahead and do a video showing, just talking about how that came about, and then getting his impressions on the finished product. Well, I'm here today with Kevin Newman, and Kevin was my first commission build, which I showed in a previous video with my Discovery, my second Discovery build that I built for him. Kevin and I have talked about the Discovery build as a commission for him for quite a while, a couple years actually. When I built my first one a few years ago, we were chatting in a Facebook group, and he really liked it, and so he had asked me about building a commission build for him, and we had kind of talked about it and thrown it around, and then finally, a little over a year ago, he decided to go ahead. Well, a year and a half ago, he decided to go ahead and do that, and certainly I was happy to do it because I hadn't built the first one in several years, and also there were several new interior kits out that I really wanted to build. So I had a vested interest in wanting to build that again. And I'm really, really happy with how it came out. I'm really happy with the newer interiors and how wonderful they look inside of that model. So Kevin, we've talked before about this, and I helped you to unpack it and everything, but go ahead and tell me, so what do you think about the Discovery, and have you had a chance to kind of really look it over and look at all the little details inside of it?
Oh, I hated it. No, I got to look, and it's just remarkable what you did with it. It's like looking in one of those Easter eggs, those old style Easter eggs, and seeing all the scenes inside, except you did so many little nuance to it. You way in the back room, there's something going on, way in the back room of it. And, just the inside of it where you got the computers actually working, the lights in the different compartments, the little figures in different areas, in the cockpit itself. If you look carefully, you can see the lights changing, so it looks like the computer's working on that area with the fiber optics. I'm just amazed at what you did on there. The only thing I haven't connected yet is the Bowman figure returning with Frank Bowman, with Frank Pohl on the thing. I haven't connected yet. I'm a little apprehensive about trying to connect it at the moment.
Yeah.
I like leaving it the way it is. And every day I come in, I get up early in the morning so I can get ready to go to work, and I'm having breakfast, and I look up there and I'm just amazed by the work that you've put into it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely.
I could never do. I've done detail before, but nothing like this. Nothing like this.
Well, I've seen some things you've done, and you've done some fantastic models for sure. I mean,
I will say that that kit is a challenge for sure in so many areas. I mean, it's a challenge with electronics. It's a challenge because of how tiny it is. The painting is definitely involved in a challenge. But yeah, I mean, a lot of great things out there, and I think that really helped a lot. Like the Aztec Dummy painting mask, which is indispensable for painting that model. The interior sets, which are still some available, like the green strawberry, which I highly recommend. The little teeny tiny pod from Shapeways, which still blows my mind how tiny that is. Which I did my second commission on, which I'll be showing after this video. About how I did that. That was someone else approached me to build that little pod after I built yours.
Yeah.
And wanting me to do that as a separate standalone, which I was working. So.
I had my brother-in-law, because I've been telling him that you've been building this, and he once in a while he'd ask you, "Are you ever going to get your model?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I'll get it eventually. You know, I'm not in too much of a rush right now. I wanted to get it done right." Yeah. And he finally came in and took a look at it, and he just couldn't, it just blew his mind away. He couldn't believe all the stuff inside. I even took the one pod out so he can look way into the back room, the Athena room. And he just couldn't believe the monitors working the way they were and everything. Yeah. And he goes, "How did he do that?" It says, "Blood, sweat, and tears." That's how he
I took little teeny televisions.
Yes, little
marked them all together.
Marked them all together and put them all together.
It's all illusion and smoke and mirrors. I only have two different color changing SMDs or LEDs, like the little bulb ones, and I have the fiber optics split up between them. So the same thing, that you just have them changing enough that they're appearing to be different colors that they're really not, even though there really only are two colors at any given time from those.
I think that is what makes the inside of that model is the two different monitors, the HAL monitor and the Athena room that really, and actually the command sphere, the command module area where you've got the different fiber optic lights changing colors. I think that sets this thing and brings it to life.
Yeah, I agree. And I was happy with how they turned out.
So. Well, it looks really good. I'm just amazed by it. Anybody that comes over, I've had people come over around Christmas and they took a look at it. They can't believe it. It is the pride and joy of all the models that I have here. And I've got it set by itself. I don't know when I'll hook it to the wall or if I'll ever hook it to the wall.
Yeah.
It looks nice the way it is.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just amazing.
Well, I'm real glad that you're happy with it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Definitely lots of blood, sweat, and tears.
It came in the package just perfectly too, without anything going wrong with it. No pieces missing, no pieces broken. Yeah. The one thing I was more worried about was the antenna than anything else, and it got here perfectly. You know,
well, that was easy since I kept it separate. It was easy to take off and just put it into a solid piece. Yeah, and I spent a lot of time packaging that. The trick to packaging that and what I did with it is that all the parts were completely immobilized, that they were not shaking at all. So you could take that entire box and there was no noise, no movement of anything.
So it was perfect.
Something could puncture it because it was still surrounded by foam. Something could puncture it. It wouldn't have hurt it. But it's shaking because that thing was going to be tossed around and thrown on belts and thrown into a truck. And I knew that was more likely to damage something if a part was able to break loose and fall around and move around.
The option build that I'm hoping to have you send, that's going to be fun to send back.
That one, that's a big concern if I ever end up doing that one, because we're talking about the big 1350 Enterprise.
Right.
Because unless it's, again, in separate pieces, but then you'd have to put some parts together and there'd have to be some connectors. And
well, we can figure it out. You know, it is a challenge. You said you like challenges, and I've got it all ready to go.
I mean, I am currently, and let me just kind of explain, and I mentioned this before. I do this hobby because I like to do it. It's an enjoyable thing. I enjoy it. I'm not looking, well, maybe in the future even more, but I'm not looking to do commissions as a profit making thing.
Profit, yeah.
It's really not profit making, mainly in the sense that, you know, I understand why people, the really professional ones that do it, charge like $1,500, $2,000, because their time is what is really invested. And so, you know, you could spend hours and hours and hours and hours, and if you literally took that amount that you pay and divided it, I'm making a whole lot more at my job that I work than I would ever make. But I've taken on these commissions because I had a vested interest. They challenged me. I took this one on originally because I really wanted to build the Discovery again, and I really wanted to do it a lot better than I did my original because I had better things to work with. I had the more advanced interiors. I had the better things that I could use to build it. And so that was the joy of it. And that was the interest in doing it. And it really turned out spectacularly better than my original, which I still love. But again, it was that challenge of doing it the way I really wanted to from the beginning if I had the tools to do it. I've often said, like, I like to use an expression where it's like, I like to get an impression of the thing that you expect to see. So like, I've watched that film so many times. I've seen that pod base so many times, every single aspect of it. So down to, you know, how bright is the lights in it? What color are the reds? You know, how does this look compared to that part? How does the warm white maintenance corridor look in comparison to the rest of it? You know, all of it. Because what happens is if you were to look at it closely and pick it apart and look at each individual piece, you're going to see some flaws, and you're going to see that it's not, you know, it's not 100% exact as that. But altogether, your mind looks at it and you say, oh my God, that's what that is. That's that thing. And that's kind of what it is. Again, we burned into our memory with the scenes from that film that when we see that, and that's the image I'm trying to go for. So when you see that, you're like, that looks just like the film. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to reproduce. If you could really go down there and see that actual pod set, it wouldn't look like that. It would look how he filmed it, because he filmed it to look the way he wanted it to look. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. That's what I'm often trying to achieve. How does it look when you film it? Because all of the props, all the things that he would have filmed, I mean, he was a genius. The things he came up with was just mind-blowing. And he put so much thought into the arrangement of all of that and bringing your attention to all that. So, for example, like when Dave leaves the ship, forgets his helmet, they don't have to tell you that. They literally just focus for a few seconds on the interior, and there's that helmet just sitting right there. It's just right there.
And he just goes straight to a pod.
It just draws your attention to it. And so, but doesn't say anything. How doesn't say anything? Nothing is said. It just shows it. And so when it comes back, you're like, oh yeah, that helmet was still sitting there right there when he left. Because that's how he was telling the story. Like, he's telling you with these images, he's telling you with this fantastic, and that's what makes it such a great movie. If you sit there and watch it and say, I don't really understand it, I don't know what he's trying to say, I don't know what all the aliens and everything is about, but it's the experience. It's the fact that in 1968, he made something that literally looked like actual space travel, that we hadn't even landed on the moon yet, but it was absolutely 100%. So that's what amazes me about the film. And today it still stands up. To me, it still stands up to any CGI, to any kind of
it does.
Special effects that I've seen done by anyone else.
It's amazing for a film as old as it is. Let's see, 68. How old is that film?
It's over 50 years old, like 53 years old. Yeah, it's unbelievable that he at that time was so far ahead of everyone else as far as the special effects that he did, that it just burned itself into my memory. And yeah, I mean, those are some of my favorite spaceships of all time from that movie alone. And and definitely excited about the newer ones that are coming out for that as well. So, all right, well, let's do this. Let me if you want to go ahead and flip your camera around, just kind of show us the model there displayed.
Okay, well, what I'm going to have to do is take it off because I don't trust it on the stand if I turn it.
All right, that's fine.
It's going to be jerky.
Fine.
Okay. Let me turn on another light just so we have more light, hopefully. So
There
there's
we go.
the model.
Awesome.
Let me turn it on.
Yeah, right up on top of your display cases, like I have my glass one. There we go.
Yeah. Huh. It's flickering a little.
Hit the power up.
That's what I'm doing. Battery.
Maybe the battery's starting to go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Can you see it all right?
Yeah, it's a little shaky, but I can see it. Oh, move over to the other side. You're too close to the wall. There you go.
Oh, I see. How's
Hey.
that?
That's beautiful.
You see the inside?
Yep. Go up a little bit. There you go. Oh, there you go. Down a little bit.
How's that?
Pull it back a bit. There you go. Then take it down just a little bit to see the inside the pod bay. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah, they're flickering a little. That could be the batteries.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
And then this.
My 3D printed, my very first that I designed myself, 3D printed.
But there's the whole model.
Yep. Nicely fitting on top of your display cases.
Oh, yeah. All we need is the music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got it on my display case just like that. You can see the whole
Beautiful.
thing.
Yep. That looks great. Awesome. See, you've done some great models, man. Don't see you.
Yeah, I did a few.
You're a fantastic modeler. All righty. Well, again, put it back up on your stand there again, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So, yeah, so really, really pleased with my first commission build. Glad everything turned out great. It made it there safely. Really happy with it. And then definitely I'll be working on more commissions in the future, and maybe possibly working on something again for you down the road. So you just never know. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm going to keep bugging you on that one.
That's fine. But yeah, it is something I'll definitely, there is some interest that I would like to do that at some point. It's a pretty cool ship. Yeah. We'll see. Certainly, I think there'll be a lot of modeling in my future, God willing. But yeah, so certainly glad to be able to do that. And glad that was the first one that I did, because the Discovery is definitely one of my all-time, if not my all-time favorite spacecraft. Oh. So thanks for bugging me about that and getting me to do that in the first place, because it was definitely a joy and an interest of mine to do again, and I'm really happy that it turned out. So yeah, yeah, stay tuned for future ones, and certainly I have several things in the pipeline that I'm working on right now, and definitely being really prolific this year again, as I was 2020. I was prolific. 2021 I was prolific, and quite a few things done. I'm expecting that's going to carry on in 2022. So I have several things that I'm already working on, and then some more things that I'm planning on working on. So including some other commissions that I'm going to be finishing up also. So, all right. Well, I appreciate it, Kevin. I'm glad you really like it. I'm glad it turned out the way that it did.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely glad to have you as my first commission. So thanks for joining me, and my year-end wrap-up, and that's certainly a first for me to be able to do a commission build, and then one of many that I'll be doing, I think, in the future as well. So, all right, thank you much.
All right, thank you.
All right, now the next Skype clip is with my second client that I did the little mini 3D printed pod for, with the scratch-built top of the command sphere. His name is Kelly, and he had approached me after seeing the little pod that I made for the Discovery build on a Facebook group, and asked me to build that one for him as well. as a standalone model and not with the Discovery. So let's go ahead and talk to him and talk a little bit about that commission as well.
I have Kelly here with me, and he is actually my second commission build. And when he saw what I was doing with the little teeny mini 3D printed pod that I was making from my first commission, he really liked it and had contacted me and asked me if I could build one for him. Now, he doesn't have the Discovery, and he didn't want the whole, well, he wanted the whole Discovery, but he didn't want to spend the large amount of money and time to make it. So he asked if I could just do the little pod. And I said, well, yeah, I could do that. That'd be pretty cool. So I threw around a couple of ideas and decided to make, which I showed in previous videos, the little top of the command sphere that I scratch built to look like it's part of the model, and then lit it up and put the little Frank figure in the claws and everything else with it. So obviously I got that sent off to him actually a couple weeks ago, but Christmas was kind of crazy and busy, so didn't get a chance to get together and just kind of go over how he likes it and how he likes the way it turned out. So you have that there with you, don't you, Kelly?
Yes, I do. I'll just keep it nearby.
Here you go. So tell me what you think about how I managed to. Was it everything you thought it would be?
And more. It's after seeing the other one you had done, you had come up with a few lighting upgrades on this one. I was very thankful for, and it really helps to make the model. And the base for it is just fantastic. The handmade top of the command module or the command sphere. It's to me worth as much as the model, because it's Ken Spriggs handmade and from scratch, from clear plastic. It was all clear plastic, and it's just truly amazing the amount of time and detail, and we kept talking and came up with different ideas, and you came up with the extra lighting, which is terrific. Inside, a light in front and behind him, so that was incredible.
Thank you.
So I could not be any more pleased. I wish I had your skill level.
But when I made the sphere top, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to go about it, and I still had my first commission. I still hadn't finished that up and shipped it out, so I got the plastic. I've used those before. And I started with a thin one, then I got a thicker one. But yeah, once I put that on there and drew around it, then I used white styrene for the little panels rather than the clear. The clear was really hard to glue on to the other clear. It just didn't want to stick with any kind of glues. But the styrene was great. And the bigger, thicker ornament was better because it was more of a hard plastic. And so I could just use some real thin cement and glue all those pieces on. But yeah, I had to cut them out separately and put them all on. So, but I'm glad that you like it. Yeah.
That makes it very special and personal, I think.
Yeah. Well, after doing the first pod, and really I've done like 2 other ones of it in different sizes with, a little less detail, but I definitely learned a few things and a few tricks. And putting a light in front of him and a light behind him helped to not only glow the interior, but also make him visible. So you could make out the little bit of detail on him and just really tell that there's a person inside of it. And it gives it that 3D image when you look closely, that you're looking in a full interior, which is astounding.
It's very, very, very true on that. It adds a tremendous amount.
It's pretty cool. It's a cool little model, but yeah, I did put probably as much, if not more, work into the base than I did into building the pod. But then each time I do it, I get better at it. I have one more person who's asked me to make one for him coming up this next month, and I'm thinking about doing something a little different, possibly doing something with the antenna array rather than doing something with the sphere, and maybe having the little astronaut suspended between it, that kind of thing. So we'll see. I'm going to be in communication with him and see if he's still interested in doing that. But yeah, I'm glad that turned out great. I'm not looking to do just all commissions all the time, but if it's something interesting, something that challenges me like yours was, certainly glad to take it on. I'm not doing it for the money or for the cost. If I took the number of hours and I try to tell people this and divide it by how much I charge, it's not, a few dollars an hour, which.
Well, obviously that base was completely unexpected. It just came through conversations. It just materialized as another Ken Spriggs fabulous idea.
Well, that's what makes it interesting to me. That's what makes me want to take on these things, because it challenges me and gives me my creativity and makes something that I wouldn't know how to make otherwise, and just kind of, and then that leads to something else, and that leads to something else. And that's how I hone my skills and, become better at them. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And I love how it looks in that baseball, that little display is just a baseball display from Hobby Lobby, which was perfect. It was a perfect size for it, perfect, and it protects it. So if you knock it over, it's not going to break and snap off there, which is good. So it's nice and protective, and it's a nice way to display it. I think that was a nice little way to do it. All right. Well, I'm really happy that I was able to do that for you. I'm happy that you contacted me and gave me the idea, because it definitely adds to, my experience in building that. The only disadvantage, of course, is that I won't have that to take to a convention and put it in there and show it, but that's fine. I'm just as happy to show it on my YouTube channel and put it out there. And it's still a work that I've done that I'm proud of and real happy with. So, and I'm glad that you like it, and will go into your displays. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Kid, I am thrilled with the whole deal. So that's my bottom line. I thank you much, and fabulous job. All your dusting with different colors of spray and stuff, that I'm oblivious. Well, not any longer, but I was oblivious to spray techniques, and you got it going on.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that I could go ahead and make that one of my commission builds for 2021. And I'll be looking forward to doing some other ones in the 2022, and along with some other builds that I'll be building also. So, all right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. So I got quite a bit completed in 2021, very prolific builds, and I was in 2020 as well. Some of them were very long and very involved, but I think the end results were really nice, and I was really pleased with them, especially being able to do 2 commissions and get those completed. As I had mentioned and kind of hinted at, I actually have 2 additional commissions going on right now. Well, I have one going on right now that I will be doing a video on here in probably a week or so. I don't want to give that one away just yet because I want to bring out the video and kind of show you some of the progress that I have on it already. And also, that was a modeler who approached me after seeing my other work and my other commissions. I actually got quite a few messages about my commissions and people asking me to do commissions for all different types of things. Certainly more people asking about the Discovery, which I really don't want to build anymore at this point because it's a very involved kit. Some other ones which I might be interested in, but it just wasn't something that was my genre or something I wanted to do. So the ones I ended up picking are ones that I do have interest in, that definitely are the kind of things I want to build, and I have some other vested interests in wanting to do them. So, but I did mention another one where I have another person asking about a little mini pod, which I want to change up and do something a little different as far as the base. So I'll be talking about both of those in the future. I also have some other models in the pipeline, certainly still working on my buddy build with Tim for the ATST, which I've been doing some more work on, and I'll be posting some videos on that coming up soon. I also have some other models that I'm going to be interested in. I just purchased today actually the new Revell Razor Crest spaceship from The Mandalorian, which I'm very excited about, which Cult TV Man just got an email today on. So I purchased that and hopefully be getting that in the next week. So I'll be doing a little mini review on that. And I think that's going to be a pretty cool kit as well. So lots of exciting things coming up in 2021. Certainly the 2001 large Ares 1B and the larger version of the Space Clipper, which I'm very excited about. Also excited about the Fly from Monarch. So those are the big ones that I definitely want to build and definitely want to look into. So, all right. Well, thank you to all my new subscribers. Stay tuned. A lot of exciting things coming up in 2022, and Happy New Year to everyone. And I will see you in the next video.